Hello, Uppersumas. Mr. Calder here, and I've got one more directed drawing for you. Today we're going to do some very simple flowers, like this rose. Let's get started. Now, one of the easiest flowers that people like to do is the tulip. Pretty straightforward. You just start with a nice U shape, like that, and then add some zigzags. Then you got a nice long stem. Just basically two lines that follow each other. And then your nice big green leaves. So you curve up, curve down, around to the bottom. And another one on this side. Curve up to a point, curve down, and around to the bottom. Now, let's get a little fancier. How about we look at the rose this time? Now this one is a little trickier. Start with a petal on the outside. It's kind of a loose oval. And then we're going to add a petal to the back, out, in, around, and back again. Now I'll slow down a bit here. I like to get caught up. Next, we're going to add a petal on the inside. So starting here, go up and around, curve down a bit, up a bit, around, and back. And right on the top of this one, you do kind of a big circle. Not complete circle, but up and around, come down and meet right about there. Don't worry, it'll look like a rose when we're done. Now, inside that circle, you're going to do a little curve, like that. Now, this is the funny part. Inside that curve, you're going to do what looks like the letter G. Starting here, curve around, make an uppercase G, like that. And then add a line down there. And another line coming off the top, down there. Let's add another petal. We're going to start right about here and end over here. Here we go. So that's going to be up with a curve across and then curve down to there. The next petal, right about the same place, going up and around, slightly flat spot, and we curve and come down and then curve down a little bit to there. One more petal. Start about halfway through this one, curve up and around, underneath, and come right back here. Now, the one thing we all know about roses is that they have thorny stems. So, starting right about here, do a bit of a curve with your stem, and then do a little zigzag, and keep going with your curve. Another zigzag, down with your curve, another zigzag, and down. Now on the other side, you're going to put your zigzags a little higher than the ones on this side. So you start up here again, follow that line, zigzag. Go past the first thorn, zigzag. Past the next thorn, zigzag. Past that thorn, zigzag. There you go. Now the leaves for rosebush are a little bit different. So start with a nice curve like that. And then you step up a bit from your stem. You're going to curve out, around, and then come down to a point. Starting in the same place, this time underneath, you're going to curve around, up, and then to the point. So down, around, up, and then down to the point. Let's put another leaf somewhere down here. So another curve, like that. Step in a bit, up and around, and down to a point. Starting in the same place, you go down, around, up a bit, and curve around to the point. Now let's add some veins. 1, 2. You could add a couple more, and a little more on this side. Just some curved lines. Give some shape to your leaf. There is the rose. How about that? Now, one of the biggest flowers everybody seems to like is a sunflower. So we're going to put a big sunflower right about there. You need to put at least 4 flowers on your page. I'm probably going to do 5. You can do 4. If you need to pause to catch up or rewind, you go ahead. So let's start with a nice big circle. The sunflower petals are bigger and they have a bit of a bulge on them in the middle, so they go out, they come around to a point, and then they come out again and back down. And you go around and just do a whole bunch of petals like that, all the way around. And notice I'm leaving a little bit of a gap. I'm not starting right beside here again. You come down, leave a gap, kind of touches the other petal, comes around, makes a point, and there. There we go. Come down, comes around, makes a point, and there. I'm getting a little bit too wide there, so I'm going to narrow it out. They're not that wide, the petals on a sunflower. And just keep going around until you get petals all the way around. Now it kind of looks like a big daisy, but we're going to draw one of those too. You'll see the difference. Okay. Now sunflowers have lots of petals, so in behind there's more petals. So starting on one petal, you curve up to a point and curve back down to the other petal. Up to a point, back down to the other petal. And just keep going around to fill in all the spaces between the first petals. You could even go around again, because there's lots of petals on a sunflower. Only this time it's smaller because they're in the back, further in the back. All the way around, like that. Now, what do you know about sunflowers? Well, it's where we get our sunflower seeds. So in the middle, you got to draw a whole bunch of sunflower seeds all the way around. Now you can draw them one by one like this, or you can go loop, 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 like that. The thing is, the loops may not be as realistic as the single seeds, and they get tighter on the inside. Okay, they get really tight in the middle, close together, and smaller. So just keep going around and around. And there's our sunflower. Now the stem on a sunflower is really fat because it's a big flower and it has to hold a lot of weight. So we're going to add a big fat stem, kind of like Jack of the Beanstalk style. And they have big droopy leaves. So we're going to draw the outside of the leaf first. Come down to a point. And then go back up to the stem. Follow that line a little bit and then curve out around to the point. And then you can draw a bit of a vein there. Let's put another leaf on there. Up and around to the point. Come back to the stem. Follow that a little bit and then come out. I missed my point, so I just made it a bit longer. There we go. And there's your sunflower. Now, how about a daisy? Those are kind of fun. They start off again with a circle. I'm going to move my page over here for you. And this time their petals are smaller, but it's kind of like a sunflower. There's just lots of petals. So you go around and around, and it's kind of like drawing a bunch of loops all the way around. You could draw them individually, but loops work too. And they do have more petals in behind. So you can go in between the petals and do little bumps to fill in between the petals. The first row of petals. Like that. Well, daisies do have tiny little circular things in the middle, so you can do a bunch of circles. Go around. You can do loops. If you want to do it quickly, just tiny, tiny, tiny circles like that. Now, their leaves are a little different, so let's draw the stem in there. Do a bit of a curve. Come back up, follow that line, nice and thin, because they're thin. Dandelion stems are thin. And their leaves are a little bit zigzaggy. So you can start down here, come up and down. Zigzag as you go up to a point, and then come all the way back down and do another couple of zigzags as you go back to the stem. Curve in and around. And how about another one? Where should we put it? How about here? Up, zigzag, zigzag to a point, come down, zigzag, zigzag to the stem. There we go. And there's your daisy. Now there's another flower that I really like. I hope I can fit it in here. It's called a clematis. And it's kind of fun to draw. You start with your circle again, and then a bigger circle. And then the stem, or the petals, you're going to draw 6 petals, and they're wiggly. So starting in the center, you go wiggle, 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 wiggle to a point, and then come back, wiggle, 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 and back to the center. And then start about halfway of the first petal and do wiggles to a point, and then wiggle, wiggle, wiggle back to the middle. And just keep going around. You should have 6. Kind of spread it out if you can. There's 3. See if I can just get 3 in there. Wiggle, 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 point, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle, 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 point, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle, 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 point, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Like that. And they have some long bits in the middle. So you can just add some long bits. You'll learn all the names of these bits and pieces. Maybe some of you do already. Now, clematis, they're not on a stem. They're actually on a vine. So anywhere in here, just draw a bit of a wiggly line. And then copy that right beside it. And then continue it on the other side. Just give the look of a vine, because they're actually on a vine. And the leaves are kind of ovalish with points. And you put a couple more down here. Just a couple of curves coming out from the stem. Like that. And you could add some veins there if you want to. Close that off. There we go. So I've got 5 flowers on my page. Now you need to color them. So if you've drawn in pencil, go over your pencil with black Sharpie, and then you can start to color. Now, how did I do my rose? I just took a pink and I gave the rose a bit of a wash. all over, staying inside the rose. So I'm holding my pencil by the side so I get a nice wide, quick color like that. Try to stay inside the rose like that. And then I took a green, a light green, and I did a wash for the leaves and the stem. I didn't do the thorns yet. Thorns are a different color, so I don't color the thorns green. You could, because you go over it later, but they're going to be a different color. And then the leaf. Now, if you're happy with that, you could leave it like that. If you want to step up a little bit more, try something a little harder. Remember how we did shadows? Use a darker color, darker red, and go back and color over top some of the petals, and think of it as shadow. Where would the shadow be? A little bit maybe underneath one petal like this. It would be darker in the middle. Maybe a little darker around the edges. And hold my pencil by the side and get a wider color that way. A wider path to color. Like that. And again, there's probably darker near the middle, underneath other petals. And then I lighten up, I don't push so hard. And go around the edge, a little bit darker here. Push harder and then lighten up. Right up to the edge. Kind of blending that in. The petals in the middle are going to be a bit darker. And they get lighter as you go out. A little darker around the edge. And kind of fan that out a bit. Because flowers like to grow towards the light. So this rose is growing like this towards sunlight that I'm pretending is coming from here. This petal's in the back, so it's going to be mostly shadow. This one a little darker there. Oops. Hope that didn't show in the video. I had a little reminder pop up there. And there's your rose. Okay. So adds a little depth to the rose. Now for the stem, pick a darker green. And keep in mind, where's the light coming from? I've got the light coming from here. So the shadow is going to be on this side of the stem. And maybe underneath the leaf here. Maybe a bit around the edge. If the leaf is curved, it might be darker around the edge. And here. So it'll be darker on this side. Oops, I went outside the line. And a little bit lighter as we go around, and it might be darker as it curves underneath. Just kind of use your imagination. Where do you think the light is going to hit? Where's the shadow going to be? And then you can blend these in. Another trick to giving shape to your drawings is if something is curving, curve your drawing pencil. Curve your lines. Don't go straight across. If the leaf is curving, curve your lines as you color. And that'll give more shape to your drawing. Okay. Now I said the thorns are different colors, so I've got a broken pencil. Ha! A little bit left there. I've got a reddish brown that I'm going to use for the thorns. So I go back with my reddish brown here and just get the thorns. They're a little different color usually. Kind of woody on a rose bush. You can blend that in a little bit. Like that. There you go. So you guys can go ahead and color your flowers. Just a hint for your sunflower. Inside the sunflower seeds are brown. So you can go around in circles. Once again, I'm doing circles because seeds are round. I could go zigzag, I could just color it all in like that, but that doesn't give shape to my seeds. So if you go around to leave a little bit of a white spot in the middle, it might show a bit of a highlight. Like that. The little ones, you just kind of circle with brown. Yep. Around like that. And the small ones I could just color in a bit because you don't see them very much. And you could use a different color brown. This is more of a reddish brown to get a different color. So you can blend your colors. Add some texture to your coloring by adding different colors. I didn't use just one brown. I'm using different browns, a reddish brown, a dark brown, a chestnut brown, and go through and use different colors. Like that. Yeah. And the same thing with the leaves. They're mostly yellow, so you could do kind of a yellow wash. And then you could add some orange lines to give a little bit of texture to your leaf. Look at that. Doesn't that look cool? So once again, give it a bit of a yellow wash. And then add some orange, just lots of lines. I'm not washing it all over the orange this time. I'm giving it some lines, which gives the petals some texture. See that? Okay. There we go. I'll show you when I'm all done. Just to show you one of the steps here. I took my yellow and I did a wash all over the yellow petals. Now I'm going to go back and add orange to those. And I did a wash of yellow for the daisy. And save yourself time. If you've got lots of green things in your picture, do all of them. Do all the greens first. Go through and whatever needs a wash or whatever you're coloring green, color them all green first. You don't have to keep switching pencils back and forth that way, right? So some of these I might leave green, some I might add a bit of different darker colors, but you can save yourself a lot of time. If you know there's a lot of green in your picture, go ahead and color all the green or all the red first. and then come back with a different color. Just another tip with your sunflower. Remember your shadows. It's going to be darker in the center of the sunflower, so you could press harder and then fan it out. Lift your pencil as you come out, lift it so it gives a thinner around the edge or at the end of your line. So makes it look like the little veins in the petals. Yeah, like that. And back in here, it's going to be really dark, isn't it? It's going to be hard to see even, maybe. It's going to be dark. It might even be where you can add some brown to make it even a little bit darker in there. Because that's behind lots of petals, so it's going to be darker. There's going to be way more shadow in there. I've already got some yellow, so it's mixing with the brown. Adds a bit of texture. So there we go. I've gone around now with the sunflower, done most of the orange, and I've gone in the back, added some more shadows in there because it's going to be behind these leaves. So I want to kind of get rid of any light in the background, not too much, because there will be some light there, but it is going to be a bit darker, like that. Once again, I'm using lines that go in the direction of what I'm drawing. The petals are going this way. They're not going this way. That would wreck it. Petals are going this way. So I'm making the lines that way. That's what makes it look more real. It gives it texture. I might put a bit of orange in with the seeds as well. Just kind of blend in all those white spots now. Like that. With the daisy, you didn't really have to do much because they're white petals. I just colored in the center. And the stem, actually, daisies are a little bit more brownish. They're not so green, so I'm going to add a little bit of brown to that stem. Now, clematis. Their flowers or the petals are very delicate. So I'm using the side of my pencil, just giving a little bit of wash around the petals. I'm not going too hard. I'll probably add a little bit more color, like I could switch